Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rider Review. This is a little bit of a different episode. Right now, I'm just taking my dog on a walk, and I figured, you know what, why not kill two birds with one stone and record an episode of the Rider Review while I take him for a walk. Anyways, let's get this out of the way. This was an atrocious performance by the Roughriders. They played horribly. Let's be real. They came and they played one quarter, and that 32-15 score, that completely flatters us. And it's never a good thing when a score that bad makes your team look good, and you're on the losing end of it. So, you know what? Unfortunately, the Riders have fall into 8-2, and you know what? As a Rough Rider fan, we know our kryptonite, and Calgary is that. Calgary's our kryptonite, and you know what? You can look at it this way, whereas Coach Mace, he played under Dickey, and you know what? Mark Mueller coached under Dickey. So you know what? I mean, that could be the answer to our questions. That could solve our problems. We go out and we do something completely different against these guys, something that we don't do all year. And you know what? Yeah, it might take a little bit of a change in the game plan, which that's unfortunately something you have to do in football. But yeah, Calgary's our kryptonite. But and you know what? We don't have to play them again this season. So let's take a look at it. Let's go offense, defense, and special teams as I usually do on this podcast. And offensively, they didn't look good. They did not look good at all. First quarter there was nothing going. You had Keyshawn drop a wide open touchdown, and I feel like had he caught that, how different could that game have been? This game could have been an insane game had Keyshawn caught that touchdown pass. But you know what? Sometimes things don't happen the way you want them to, and you know what? It's unfortunate. So Trevor just did not look good in that first quarter. I mean, what can you say about it? Second quarter, now that's a completely different story. Now, I've been saying it all week. I said it on the Green Zone post-game show, if you guys were listening. The Riders came and played a singular quarter of football. And that quarter was the second quarter. That Harris had over 140 yards in that quarter, which was, that's insane when you're doing that in a single quarter. And you know what? If we could have kept that up the entire game, again, it's a different football game. It's a different story. I'm talking about a 9-1 football team here, but no, I'm talking about an 8-2 football team. Mind you, they're still comfortably in first place, but yeah. Anyways, I gotta say, Keyshawn really came up clutch after that. He was, I think he was our best receiver on the day, honestly. And I mean, of course, I don't have the stats in front of me, but obviously, our Thunder and Lightning was really good. I like that. I like how we added Anderson Jr. in there, and you know what? Ouellette was steady as he always is, and you know what? I mean, yeah, obviously they weren't the best because we got the snot kicked out of us, but you know what? Let's talk about Trevor Harris and what the deal is with that. He cramped up, apparently, after taking a huge hit by a rookie. Yikes. I'm praying that he's going to play. Obviously, you never know. He claims he cramped tonight. Here's the thing. You can't believe that when you have a 39-year-old quarterback, you got to play it safe. Now, here's the thing. We're going into Labor Day, which is the biggest game of the CFL season. And the back-to-back, right? It's Banjo Bowl, right? We're playing the Banjo Bowl the next week, which is just as big, So, if he's not hurt, you play him. Here's the thing. If he's somewhat healthy and if he feels he's ready to go, then you got to play him, right? Unless he is concussed for sure, 100%, you play him. So that's my 2 cents on that. Let's shift over to the defense here. I'm gonna say our defense played way better than our offense. I think we had like three interceptions. Mind you, they weren't all VA's fault. There were some tip drills that happened. So I think Thurman got one, and then Milligan got one, and yeah, I don't know. Can't remember who else got one. I swear somebody else got one, but this team on defense, I mean, there was way too many holes in our secondary come that second half, and I think that's what ultimately got us. How'd our defense been able to, lock in and give our offense something to work with? I feel like we could have came out with that, but it's just tough when you have Dedrick Mills running at you constantly, and VA, he's big play VA for a reason. He makes big plays, and that's what he's known for. And unfortunately, things just didn't go our way on defense, because we fell asleep. That's what it was. Sales was out. You can blame it on that. You have I believe Campbell is out too, which is why Krapala Exume came in. I was honestly looking forward to this game. I thought Jackson Ford would have done numbers, and unfortunately that's just not what happened. So you got to take this loss with a grain of salt. One thing I will say is I was completely right about that special team situation. I said, obviously I was wrong about the score, but I said you bring in another, you have to bring in another kicker, right? Don't get me wrong, he's in between a rock and a hard place right now as Coach Mace. But, you have to bring in a kicker, but you can't bring in a kicker. And you know what? Unfortunately, that's what Coach Mace did. He brought in a kicker. And you know what? Maybe that's what messed with the mumbo jumbo with this football team, and maybe that's why we took that loss. But things happen. So I feel like I honestly don't think Lauther should last this season. I really don't. But I mean, who am I to say anything right now? Because I honestly don't know. I don't know what you do at this point, because you know what? Yeah, he missed it, but he kicked the laces. You can clearly see. So that, maybe you can blame that on the holder, but I don't know. I honestly don't know what you do in this situation. Sorry, I had to do a little spinorama because George just grabbed me. But anyways, I don't know what you do in this situation. In that kicker situation, Lauther's a great guy. I'd hate to see him go, but if it's for the betterment of the team, then it's what has to happen. So, yeah, that's it for this edition of the Red Review. Make sure you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe. And do all that fun stuff. Sorry, a biker just came by. But anyways, yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe. Go stream all the little things. And yeah, I'll see you guys after Labor Day, I guess. So yeah, peace.